In this activity, you're going to be doing three things. You're going to be looking at a model or a diagram of the carbon cycle and making some conclusions about that diagram. And then you're going to analyze some data about carbon output from all of the wildfires that are going on in California and the West Coast. And then you're going to look at a third diagram that sort of explains how wildfires contribute to carbon in the atmosphere and how they could potentially lead to more wildfires. So the first thing you're going to do is take a look at this diagram, and there are two questions about the diagram. First, what processes add carbon to the atmosphere? So we have our carbon here, our CO2, in the atmosphere. You're going to look at the labels on the arrows to list what could add carbon to the atmosphere and what removes carbon. So pay attention to the directions of the arrows. If they're pointing to the atmosphere, that means carbon is being added. If they're pointing away from the atmosphere, then that means carbon is being removed. Next, we have some data on the amount of carbon released from the fires in California. You're going to make some observations about what you see in this graph. And then you're going to summarize what you see in this diagram in your own words. That shows the climate feedback loop caused by wildfires. And then you're going to use those two images and the model of the carbon cycle from the first page and explain what do you expect to happen to the fires in California in the future? Do you think they'll get bigger or smaller? And you need to explain your answer using evidence from the graph and the two diagrams. And finally, you're going to answer this last question. I'm going to use that initial diagram on the first page to identify two ways that humans can reduce the amount of carbon in the atmosphere. If you have any questions on this assignment, please send me an email.